Holy cow, the Cubs are hot.
Yeah, we yelling at the screen every Sunday night. Talk slick, throw the remote, we just want it right. Front office tripping, man, they can't get it right. Whole city heated, but we still gon' fight. We talking Bulls trade, biz drafts, missed calls, club slump, soft rebuild. We seen it all. Yeah, we loud, yeah, we gritty. I'm a little frustrated, but I still love my city. Yeah, north side, south side, west, we united.
Welcome back to Holy Cow, the Chicago Cubs baseball pod here at FCSF. The boys are clicking on all cylinders right now. We've been waiting on it. Said in the last episode that they had to take advantage of the Mets. Everybody know you got to run it up when you see a Vic. And no one is more of a victim right now than the New York Metropolitans. When you see a Vic, you got to run their pockets, and the Cubs did that. They came into Wrigley Field on Friday with 8 straight losses. And with the Cubs feeling great after winning that series in Philadelphia the way that they did, they cannot suffer a letdown. Maybe you don't sweep the Mets, but you don't let them off the mat either. And the Cubs, they handled business in the way that they needed to. First sweep of the season, 5-game winning streak. Let's go ahead and recap how this weekend went before we get into the bad news, the Palencia injury, give out our flowers to who's hot, and try to light a fire under the guys who's not. All right. What a weekend against the Mets. The Cubs extended their winning streak to 5 games while sending the Mets to their 11th straight loss. The Mets are now 7-15 on the season, while the Cubs are now 12-9. The series started off with a bang. The Cubs offense put up double-digit runs for a 12-4 win. They hit 3 home runs and had 14 hits. Third straight game with 14 or more hits. Then, second game of the series, we saw Craig Counsell pitch hit Carson Kelly from Moises, and Kelly immediately paid that off. He crushed the first pitch he saw for a 3-run home run off Brooks Raley to bring home that 4-2 win. Sunday's game was just like Cardi B because it was the drama. Low scoring game. Javier Assad had a good bounce back game from his last appearance. Last time we saw Javier Assad, it was the first game of the series against the Philadelphia Phillies, and he got smoked. But Sunday, he gave up just 1 run over 5 2/3 innings worth of work. The Cubs were down 1-0 going into the bottom of the 9th against Devin Williams. Ian Happ, he had a single, and then he was pitch run by Scott Kingery. Michael Conforto stepped into the box, and he stepped up big. He had a pitch hit double, laced it right into the right field corner to tie the game. That's where the game went into extra innings, and Caleb Theobar became the story of that one. He beautifully stranded the Mets ghost runner at the top of the 10th by striking out Luis Torres with a 94 miles per hour high fastball. And in the bottom half of that same inning, PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, he started out on second. And let me tell you something. There's no one in the majors I want to be my ghost runner, the PCA. He advanced to third off a wild pitch while Dansby Swanson was at the plate. Dansby eventually struck out. We'll talk about that in a little bit later. But after that, Nico Horner came into the box. He's up to the plate, and for some reason, the Mets manager, Carlos Mendoza, decided to pitch to Nico, red-hot Nico, MVP start to the season Nico, instead of putting him on an open base at first and pitching to struggling Michael Busch. Now, I already said the Mets have lost 11 in a row, swept again. It's early. It's still April. I don't even think we're 15% into the season. We're definitely not even halfway through the first third of the season, not even through the first month of the season. You only got 15 losses. A lot can still happen in this season. But stuff like that lets me know that Carlos Mendoza, his job might not be safe. I mean, you lose 11 in a row. It's tough to make an argument that you're going to keep your job. Like I said, even though it's a long season, 11 straight losses is a tough sell. I don't know. He's a manager. He knows more than me. Maybe he knew what he was doing. It didn't work out for him, but I don't know. He loses his job. He might just be a podcaster like me coming up later. In any case, he decided to pitch to Nico, and Nico did what he was supposed to do. He sent the pitch right into right field for a sac, brought in PCA for the game-winning walk-off Cubs sweep. Bring out the brooms. The Cubs sweeping this team is big, not only because they strung together 3 or more wins for the first time this season, not only because this team is at a season high 5-game winning streak, not only because the bats started to come alive at the right time to help a depleted pitching staff, but the team got another big injury news when the series started. They took that news and bounced back and put together a very good series. Daniel Palencia is now down. He's on the 15-day IL and is expected to miss the next 12 to 13 days. According to the sources, Palencia initially felt something weird in his lower back and his oblique while he was playing catch on Wednesday. He took Thursday off in Philadelphia. And after that off day, he had a light throwing session, and they said it actually went well. And then from that point, he had a full bullpen session, and he said the bullpen session went well. He was throwing 95 to 96 in that session. However, I think the setback, what they said the setback happened was immediately after that bullpen session. He felt pain during his running and conditioning work, which suspects that it was aggravated by the force from the running as his feet hit the ground. And because he had experienced these symptoms over the course of 3 days, the team decided to err on the side of caution and just place him on the IL rather than further risking the injury. And that's the MO for this team. They've done that a lot with their pitchers. Kid gloves. Not to say it's the wrong decision to make, but you understand they're going to go the cautious side more so than the aggressive side. Despite all of that, the Cubs remain optimistic about his outlook for early part of the season. Also said that Palencia's ability to throw a successful bullpen session suggests that it's more or less not a high grade strain. Medical staff will continue to monitor him, and if anything lingers, they will schedule an exam to determine the exact grade of the injury. As far as Palencia, he said he's going to take it day by day, and that he wants to be smart and cautious right now, so he can prevent so he can prevent any serious long term injury and just keep it to a minor muscular thing and not turn this into a severe long term injury that can derail a very important year, not just for the Cubs, but for him himself. Now let's talk about who's playing, who's hot, and who's not. Started with who, Nico Horner. He's a superstar. MVP, you heard it in the stands this whole series. Nico's hitting 325 with a 927 OPS. He's stealing bases at a high level. He's playing elite gold glove defense. He had that walk-off and on Sunday's game. Talked about that. He is the engine of the offense right now. And I want to give also big props to Big Mo, Moises. After starting the season slow, Moises is hitting 381 with a 1.032 OPS and slugging 619 with 3 home runs. Got just an incredible bat path. He's aggressive early in the count, and he's producing huge power numbers, even though Craig Counsell Kelly is hitting 340 himself with an OPS of 970. And both guys are coming in cold off the bench, and they're ambushing these pitchers. First pitch swinging, and for game winners. I want to also shout out the healthy arms and the offense as a whole, while damn near everyone is hurt. The Cubs offense had 3 straight games of 14 plus hit, like I said earlier, double digit runs, and guys like Caleb Theobar have stepped up tremendously. With Palencia out, Theobar was called up to close out games. He successfully recorded 1, 2, 3 ninth inning with 2 strikeouts and one of the victories, and he stranded that ghost runner in the 10th, like I said earlier, after striking out Luis Torres with a nasty fastball. Very aggressive in these high leverage spots. And one of the appearances, he's really jumping on these batters early. He's pounding the strike zone quickly to get ahead of hitters 0-2, and he's strike. But also Ben Brown. Ben Brown stepped into a vital middle relief in game 2 of a close game, and he pitched the 7th and the 8th innings, and he was able. We talk about it all the time. Moments get too big for him, but he was demonstrated big composure in that high pressure spot. and was hitting that elite velocity. That 97 mile per hour fastball came out. He brought that out to the show at the top of, and he was hitting the top of the strike zone, overpowering hitters when he needed a crucial out. Most impressively, though, during that stressful situation during the eighth inning, when the Cubs infield defense, they had committed some errors and had made some shaky throws. The Mets managed to get the time run on base, go ahead man at the plate. And instead of unraveling, Ben Brown maintained his composure and he pitched around the defensive errors and he got us out of that inning. Not to be outdone, Jameson Taillon, he pitched 6 strong innings in this series. Javier Assad already said 5 and 2/3, 1 run. These type of performances prevent the bullpen from getting overworked, getting overtaxed. We're already down. We're already to our limits with arms, and these guys are just proven to be studs. A solid performance. I know I did just bag on the defense, but the defense provided crucial support to the depleted pitching staff as well. Crow Armstrong made a great catch to bail out the pitching staff in a 30 some odd pitch inning. The infield, crucial double plays left and right, killing momentum. Horner ended the game by turning a double play. And, just to go back to Nico again, another series, he was just being elite. He made a diving catch in the fifth inning, a Robert hit. Most notably, in the 10th inning of Sunday's game, he he fielded an infield single and made a brilliant heads-up decision to fake throw to first and darted the ball to home to stop the guy coming from third right in his tracks, made him go back to third, which prevented a run from scoring. We needed that. And you know what happened later on in the Cubs half of the inning, we walked that off. And just a good series from all around. But it's not all sunshine at the friendly confines. There's a few guys who are still struggling to find their rhythm. And I'm going to say it again. Michael Bush, whenever you're ready to show up, my man, we can use you on a consistent basis. Still batting just 174, and he hasn't recorded an extra base hit since the opening day of the season. This is on the heels of that over 30 stretch that he had. So it's a good thing that the Cubs did not tender Michael Conforto when Suzuki was activated because Suzuki's looking lost at the plate right now. He's striking out in massive spots with runners in scoring position, runners on base, and it's generally looking like he's out of sorts. So while it's not hurting the Cubs right now, you definitely need these two guys to turn it back on. Once these two guys get going, PCA included, this team is going to be tough. It would be nice if everything started clicking when we get to the West Coast. Dansby Swanson, last guy. He's battling exactly 200, and he had a horrific at bat in the 10th inning in Sunday's series finale. He failed on 2 bunt attempts, and before he struck out on a pitch that was nowhere near the zone. Um, Not that I expect a lot of offense from Dansby Swanson, but that at bat was terrible. Come on, bro. Looking ahead, the Cubs have a decent amount of tough ball games ahead of them. I I said it in the last episode. I don't think much of the Philadelphia Phillies, at least right now. I think the Cubs can at worst split this series with the Phillies coming into Wrigley for a 4-game set, and that'll be it for the Cubs and Phillies this season. After what we did to their offense in Philadelphia and the way these pitching matchups set up, I'm very optimistic that the Cubs can get 2, if not get 3 out of that. The Cubs have Colin Ray going up against Aaron Nola, Shada Ebinaga facing off against Jesus Luzardo, and Matthew Boyd is going to be returning to the mound, and Edric Rivera is slated to take on Christopher Sanchez. Like I said, once the Cubs get done with Philadelphia, they're going to go out west to play the powerhouse Dodgers, defending World Series champions Dodgers, and the San Diego Padres. 2 3-game sets, and it's going to be a real test for these arms to see if they can continue the magic of holding down a fort until we get some help back. Maybe the office can continue to pick up the slack, hopefully. And like I said, hopefully PCA, Michael Bush, and Seiya Suzuki, they can all figure these things out and maybe carry their weight so Nico's not doing everything. I'll be back to cover the end of the Philadelphia Phillies series and Hopefully that will be another series win, 3 straight series wins for the Chicago Cubs. Fly to W. Appreciate you tapping into this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Don't matter if you was watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with everybody on the block, and hit the notification bell so you never miss none of our daily drops. And to all the guys from the Shy, we say 3 things. Bear down, fly to W, and sell the team, Jerry.